Still got you.
What was that, sorry?
Sorry, you still there? Yep, cool.
Oh, yeah, sorry, I was still here. I was just watching some stuff on Twitter.
No worries. All right, we might be live again.
Oh.
I think.
Okay. Let me see if we've got there's something. It does show that we're live. I can hear you. Yes, I can hear you.
Lockie, how you going, mate? We have audio.
There's now no video for you.
I know, because every time, sorry, Lockie, and anyone else who happens to be watching. We're having some issues with OBS and a few other things, but we're in now. The voice you may have heard before was Paul James, if you were jumping in before. So I'm going to flick.
How are we? Yes, yeah. The room is getting there. I don't know. Oh yeah, and people can see that. Cool. Yeah, there we go. Go Cats. And the little Tom Hawkins you sent me is right up here next to all my gaming stuff. So there's some sort of, I don't know, reclamation going on. Footy taking over for video games. The quality, all the gaming stuff. Yeah, I'm looking at the YouTube version. It's quite fuzzy coming through to the other side as well. But I think that's some of your technical issues that might be playing part there. Now Lockie's saying can't hear you when it switches to me. Does that might be your OBS situation? All right, I'll just Lockie, you're in the chat. Do you like video games? How much do you know about them? Anything at all? Does any of this stick out at you at all? I don't know. This incredibly low res video that you might be seeing at the moment looks crystal clear for me on my side, but unfortunately the YouTube version's a bit rough from the sounds of it, or from the look of it. I mean, do you recognise any of that in the background? I mean, look, this one up here was a project between. I'll take my mic with me. Project between my son and I in the last couple of days. I got sent this by PR earlier in the year. I'm a Star Wars fan.
Very nice.
I've never been a Lego person, but they sent me a Lego BD-1, who is one of the droids in actually an upcoming Star Wars game. It's only a month or two away. We spent 2 days building this bad boy. He had 3 years old, so he was 4 years old, so he's basically just doing.
It's very nice. You've got a few different things on there, and you're telling me about. This could be turned into a gaming show by the end of this one, Paul. But you've got your. I don't know if you can hear me now.
Oh, now he says he doesn't hear me.
Yeah, I know. I'll fix that. One sec. Thanks, Lockie. He's helping us out. He's our behind the scenes producer guy. He's very helpful.
When we're both on the same screen, I mean, there's some little cropping issues when it's now. Here's both. There we
Beautiful.
go. Bizarre.
Yep.
There's some cropping issues when it comes to when we're both on the same screen. There, I'm noticing like you overhang the bottom.
Yep.
And
you're a little bit out of whack here.
Yeah,
you might be.
Short. So I'm just going to keep rambling about video game paraphernalia until everything's up and running, and then we'll talk. Footy.
Sounds good to me.
One of my more recent acquisitions. And I spent far too much money on it.
Yeah, I was going to say.
Just slide it out. No, I was talking about one particular item. This bad boy is Mjolnir, like Thor.
Yes, Thor.
Thor's Mjolnir. Thor the god.
You haven't got Stormbreaker.
This is from God of War from last year. So, it's actually incredibly well made, and it's a hefty thing. Like you could do damage with this.
And you are worthy because you can clearly pick it up. So that's working well.
Sorry, hang on, let me just make sure I can stress how easy it is. Just a couple fingers. That's all.
That's beautiful. Look at that.
Look at that.
That's great.
Just a pinky does the job. It's just great with ease. Anyway, now I've got to try and get this thing back in there.
So it looks like it should be working nicely now. I'm just going to pull up the live stream on my phone so I can.
Are you trying to tell me that I can't talk video games anymore?
Yeah, you can talk video games all you like, mate. Because we're just. We're buying ourselves a few minutes here just to sort of make sure everything's working okay. But yeah, the cameras are lagging a little bit, aren't they? So yeah, there's not much.
If need be going forward, because if there's part of your concern is that maybe your rig that you're using is problematic, we could all easily transfer it. Maybe for the future, we can transfer everything over to my computer and I can run the stream from here.
Yeah, we might be able to. I might have to. Look, Lockie was saying.
I can kind of act as guest / producer. It makes it a little bit easier if the main host is able to not focus on some of those sorts of things.
Yeah, Lockie, I was saying to Paul just off air before that normally it's not this bad, so we'll probably might have a few practice goes outside of a normal live stream, but we'll see.
Good thing we're not in the real season, hey?
Correct. Which is not that far away actually. It's what is it? March 19.
Don't say that.
It's not far away, so we can bask in premiership glory for another 7 or 8 weeks. But eventually, it's got to come to an end at some point, doesn't it?
No. Just to be crystal clear, we are the reigning premiers until there's a second left in the 2023 grand final. So
yeah, we got to.
Geez, that is incredibly laggy. I'm still hanging. Oh, there we go.
Oh, yeah. I think it's going through a Google Meet and then trying to put it onto OBS as well. OBS not working too well, but thankfully the audio is a little bit better anyway.
We can steer you away from Google Meet for the next one.
I reckon that might be the way to go, mate. I reckon that might be. Should we talk
Discord or something like that?
Yeah, I think so. Shall we talk a bit of the Cats?
Oh yeah. I've video gamed out now.
Your video gamed out, but we will cover all that. It will maybe every week we'll pick some other little item on your shelf there there's something at the very top there that I'm curious about. I don't know. It's some kind of
where are we talking?
It's next to the OBI 3 thing or B or whatever it's called. It's big dragon monster thing. I don't know.
OBI 3.
I can't unless I'm misreading it somehow. No, that's it. That's all right.
Up the top there.
Yes.
So then what, you're talking about this big elephant thing?
That must be the one, yep.
Right above my bottle?
That must be it, yeah.
Yeah. We'll save that conversation for till next week then.
We completely frozen.
Or next time, whatever. And yeah, Lockie's with me. Discord's going to be probably far more stable for that.
Yeah, we'll try that. We did try that a while ago when you and I first caught up, Paul, and I just couldn't get onto it. So we're making some progress with some of the tech, but there's still a fair way to go with a few things. So
sorry, we'll have to get at some point we'll have to get a Discord community going for all the Hoop Show fans anyway, so we can get some constant conversation going, not just when content's
we'll have to do something
being developed.
Now you may have
Lockie, would that be out of interest since you're in the chat? We may as well ask for thoughts.
Yeah.
Would that be something you'd be keen on? Like a Discord for yourself, us, others to just jump in and kind of keep things contained to one platform as opposed to social media or YouTube comments or whatever? Let us know anyway.
Let us know in the chat. All right, mate. So let's talk a little bit about what some of our plans are for this year. And one of the first things we probably will plan to do is get this technology right, I'm sure. But beyond that, what we're really excited about is a couple of things. And one is the continuation of Behind the Play, which we've already banked a few episodes, and they're in the can and they're scheduled, ready to go for. And
Ben has proven himself to be an absolute monster with what he's teed up for me next week. I am absolutely. I have uttered the name since now because I've had to get my head around
a monster.
Around the idea of talking to this particular individual. So,
is this happened to be a premiership player, a recent premiership player, or am I thinking?
Oh fuck it, who cares? Like you've teed up Nick Davis, and I'm not at all happy because I've now had to speak his name, something I'd stubbornly refused to do for years.
I can't believe it. He's agreed to do it.
I cannot. Of course he is. He'd let relishes any opportunity to remind Cat supporters about it.
I want you to go in full Cats gear as well. So. Are you gonna? It's gonna be It's gonna be the weirdest opening ever, I reckon. You're gonna turn his incoming
video and podcast series, the Hoop Show that explores the lives of on-players, past and present, off-field figures, as well as arseholes from opposition that ruin people like teenage dreams. That's you, Nick Davis. Fuck off.
and that will be a short.
But I guess you're here. Let's talk about your life a little bit.
That's a
and
nice
then we'll
little
skip 2005.
nice little promo for the episode there. Thanks, Paul. We'll save and capture that one. So that'll be good. But yeah, we've got Nick Davis coming on. We've got another premiership player coming on, which I don't really want to name yet, but I will say it is a very, very, very recent, freshly minted premiership player, which we haven't got in the can yet, but they've agreed to come on the show.
Before, yeah.
Haven't done that before. Haven't locked that episode. Haven't recorded the episode yet. So until we actually record them, we're sort of hesitant to name names. But
well, we actually haven't had anyone from the men's list who is active player is not the right thing, because we've obviously recorded, and that's public knowledge, that Oscar Riccardi's been on the show.
That's true.
And I guess he was active on the list for about 3 days at that point. But, has actually played a game for the AFL men's, like on the current list. So
yep.
That'll be a first, which will be good.
Yeah, we've had Brooke Plummer on as well, which is great. Both of those episodes were fantastic. So if you haven't checked those ones out, please do. They're good fun. So yeah, look, we've got a bunch of episodes all queued up. We've got someone who's actually just messaged me today, just trying to confirm a time. Oh, you know about it. I just haven't. I haven't got back to them with a exact date yet. So I'm hoping to organise that one pretty soon.
Would be a good get.
Yeah,
I'll stress that it's not Zach Toohey, but
no, I'd love to get Zachary. If you're watching here, please let me know. We'll see. We've done pretty well so far, haven't we, Paul? But hopefully we'll be able to keep it going into the new year.
I'm just double checking the list of who we've got lined up again.
It's quite impressive. I'm happy with it. I'm very happy with it. It's not to say that the guests we had last year weren't any good, but they were fantastic too.
We did have someone initially lined up for tomorrow, didn't we?
I think so. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So we'll see how we go with that. And all right, so that's going to be starting.
Lockie's just asked, "Am I getting on the show sometime?"
Lockie, we'll get you on the show, mate. We'll definitely get you on the show. Whether it's we'll have to get you on. Well, we haven't made that announcement yet, but we'll have to get Lockie on the our new Sunday live show once we've got the live stuff sorted out. But we are going with a new show on a Sunday evening after the round's all done and dusted. We're going to talk about the game. We're going to pull it apart, analyse it to death. We're going to do it. We want to do it pretty close to when the game ends, not necessarily straight away, because every game finishes on a Thursday, Friday.
It's not feasible, and I mean,
we can't get everyone together.
You talk about Sundays, but obviously we play Easter Monday, so that's going to throw. That's the week you were away, was that?
Exactly
right?
Yeah, I'm in Bali
I'm
again.
around for that one, but of course my intent is to go to that game, which means recording something immediately afterwards. When possible. So.
Yeah, exactly right. So we'll definitely do it every Sunday night, same time, same channel. Every Sunday night, I'll try to do some post game reactions immediately after. If it's not me, Paul might do the odd one, or get someone else to do the odd one, whatever. Who knows? We might even get to a game together, Paul, this year. That'd be nice. Haven't kind of gone that far yet with the fixture yet, but
I'm definitely planning on going to more games this year. So
okay.
My dad is, as I think some people know from either my games content or even some of the footy stuff. Like, Dad's been basically overseas for the last decade, but we used to go to the footy all the time. Well, he's coming back in May, and he's actually gone and bought me, wife, and kids all memberships for next year.
Oh, okay.
And with his plan for 2024 being that we'll all get reserved seats again, which is what we used to do. So
okay.
There'll be a lot of, but with some of the. Well, with memberships already lined up for 2023, I'll absolutely be cashing in on a few of those, bringing the kids to a couple because they've not done a proper game yet. The only footy experience they've had is either on the TV or the Geelong and Richmond preseason game that we had.
Oh, yes. Yep.
One that was like 6 quarters long, and the kids were fed up by about what would normally be halftime.
Yeah,
Lockie, I'm really envious of you, mate. I'm super keen to get to more footy. I used to be going all the time, but it's children that have.
I saw Lockie caught up with Jack Rippon at the BBL game, the Renegades game.
Guest.
Yeah, one of our guests on the show from last year, one of our awesome guests. He was great. That was a good one, wasn't it?
But is Jake a Renegades fan? Lockie, are you a Renegades fan?
Oh, you better be. I saw him with a Stars hat on the other day. I don't know if he has a bit each way, Lockie. I reckon, I don't know. Are you a Renegades man? Because I don't know about you, Paul. I haven't actually discussed it. Well, I'm a Renegades man, so we might have to just look at
that. Explains a bit. You're kind of trash.
Well, we are. What are we? We did win 3 to start the year, and then it all fell apart, didn't it, after that? What is he? Is he Renegades?
Renegades fan.
Good man, Lockie. We'll definitely get you on the show then.
By the moment in the chat, will you be going to more live? I mean, yeah, we'll be going live more this year. You kind of addressed that already, but yes, we'll absolutely be looking to go live.
Definitely, and we'll catch up at a game, Lockie, for sure. That won't be an issue. Not a problem. But yeah, we'll do some.
You're in the squad now.
Yeah,
that's pretty awesome.
Oh, cool, beautiful.
More grounds to be on behind the play, right? I think I could see where the question was coming from now.
Exactly.
Is involvement with the club?
We'll definitely do. We'll definitely get him on the show. That's for sure. We might even get Jake. I think we got Jake back on the show as well at some point through the year. So that'll be good.
There's no reason why we can't have return.
No. So we've got their Sunday live show coming up, and we've got it's myself and Paul and Anna Pavlu, who's also another guest on Behind the Play, but she's a mad cat fan, and she's one of the newsreaders on SEN.
By far and away the most qualified of the lot of
us. Oh, she's so good, and she puts us to shame. But she's agreed to come on pretty much almost. I think it's about 2 out of every 3 weeks or something like that. So she's on for. We've got about 34 weeks sort of lined up from next year, starting from I think the 5th of May is the first one. Finishing up around end of trade week or something like that. So, or draft week, I think it was the last episode around about then. But it's going to be a full schedule, and we've got a few. It's mostly us three, and we've got a few others who are going to sort of fill in from time to time as well. So, so that'll be good, and we'll get all this technology sorted all up and going well before then.
No, Lockie, we haven't had Paul Callett on the show, but if there's a way to get in touch, feel free to let us know.
Yeah, if you got any ideas for people to come on the show, if you got any contacts and you want to
DM Ben through the Hoop Show account
100%.
On social media, whether it's Twitter or Instagram, or do you have a presence on Facebook? I haven't even noticed that. So I barely use Facebook myself.
The Hoops we've got a channel on. We've got a page on Facebook.
We're everywhere, global.
We are global. We have TikTok. We have a website too. What's it called? The Hoops.show, I think it is. I don't know. I haven't done anything with it yet, but my sister set that up for me for Christmas, and we haven't I mentioned that, but I haven't done anything with it. So yeah, the Hoops.show. Apparently, that's the domain name is show. So
it's absolutely a template because there's pictures of women's soccer on there.
Yeah, exactly.
Which is not at all relevant.
nothing to do with what we're about. So we won't advertise that too broadly just yet. So we'll do the Sunday show. We'll do some post-match stuff. I'd love to get some a watch party going for some interstate games. Did have someone in mind for that, but they unfortunately pulled the pin on that. So that's a bit of a shame, but still might try to do that myself where I can. If there's a game I can't get to because it's in Perth or wherever, and I'm not travelling. I think I'm going to the Gabba game, Brisbane game later in the year. But,
that'd be right.
But yeah, the Perth one I won't get to, and a couple of Adelaide ones might not get to as well. So I might try and do a live stream, a watch party for that one. So
to this day, I've still never done an interstate game.
Really? Oh, they're so much fun. I love it.
But again, it's all on the cards once the kids are old enough. That kind of creates a bit of flexibility again. I'm doing my first interstate trip since having kids at the end of the month. It's only one night. But.
Speaking of Sydney cheats, we were at the game. Well, it wasn't Sydney player cheating, but we were at the game where Jazza took that mark on the point post against Sydney, and the umpire said didn't travel far enough to pay the marks and play on was the call. That wasn't. When the Sydney crowd are rubbish. I don't know if there's any Sydney supporter. I know I've got a few friends that are Sydney supporters, or even people in the social media space. But yeah, the crowd don't even care about the footy when they go. Maybe it was the area I was sitting in behind the goals, but goodness me, did they not care?
Either moment, I just see your comment there about like ex-players on the show. I mean, we've obviously had a few already. Just in case you've not necessarily caught up with Behind the Play before. We've had. I mean, I guess I don't know how recent retiree you're talking about, but we've had the likes of Matty Stokes and obviously like we kicked the show off with Alan Christensen, who's obviously not been a cat for a while, but we've had a few past and somewhat recent players on the show through that lens, and then obviously as we've discussed a little bit earlier on, but they're currently behind the Patreon paywall there, so feel free to jump on the Patreon and get early access to them. We've also got Oscar Riccardi and Brooke Plummer that have already been recorded as current players in both the AFL men's and AFLW. Yeah. So I'm sure Ben's got the details for the Patreon nestled within the description. So
yes, it is actually 100%.
If you want to check out Behind the Play, make sure to go and have a look there because there's early access to a few episodes already, including those two.
And how much is it, Paul? Do you remember how much it was a month?
For that particular tier, you mean? Was it
Yeah,
$5?
I think something like that. It's $5. So
I think it's $5.
Yeah, so
It
coffee.
should be something I
That's
know.
about. I paid $5.50 for a coffee today. So once a month, it all helps. We help us get better technology. What do you reckon? So we can run these things much more smoothly.
Yeah, do enough of this, and Ben will buy a decent computer.
I know. I've just bought a key light, Elgato key light, which it's sort of okay at the moment, but I haven't got. I'm in the garage at the minute. I'm not sure what the audio is like, but still got to paint the walls and do a few other things. But
no, you credit the audio is pretty good.
Okay,
the audio
that's
is
good.
Pretty solid. I'm not really hearing any echo or reverb, which is good.
Nice. We've got the footy tipping comp, which I ran a footy tipping comp last year, so we'll do that again this year as well. I think last year we had the first prize was like $100 voucher to the cat shop. So we'll do a comp again this year. We might do something slightly different in terms of it might be a $10 entry or something like that for those. So we might not get as many people in it, but we might do a $5 or $10 entry fee thing. Where we say put 90% of the money back. Yeah, something like that, and then maybe 10%, or we might do some with weekly prizes or something like that. We'll work that stuff out as we go along. So there's a few things happening, and then if we do some of these longer form shows like this, then I'll chop it up a little bit into different sections and maybe post it on YouTube. So things that people are interested in, like if you just want to know what we're doing in 23, then we'll do a quick snap of that. And if you want the next topic we're going to talk about is some our thoughts on the captains for next year, and we might I'll do a little 5-minute video about that as well. So yeah. Anyway, good segue. What are your thoughts, mate, on the potential captain? You might have seen the news with Danger. Danger came out the other day talking about how we're going to get a captain for now, not necessarily for the future. I don't know if that you interpreted that as him making a case for himself. I certainly read it that way. I still would be leaning towards
Danger's comments.
Danger's comments, yes, apparently, unless I've misinterpreted it. But I think the wording was somewhere along the lines of we need a captain for now, as in we're still hunting for premierships. And I don't know I don't know the logic behind that, but I think you get the best person regardless of their age, a bit like Selwood. So,
yeah.
But I'm still leaning towards Tom Stewart, even forgiving him for the medal presentation issue with the kids and so forth. My partner hasn't forgiven me for that.
It's a faux pas, but geez, people went ballistic over that. They're
Goodness
just
me.
looking for blood after the whole Dion Prestia bump.
Yeah.
Jesus.
Well, we didn't lose a game after that, did we? I can't remember.
Also, good work on the self-congratulatory stuff there with the good handover, good segue comment from before. You did. I like the little bit of back patting there. Anyway, yeah, look, I think.
What do you reckon?
Yeah, I mean, Lockie says it well, and like Tom Stewart, I feel like is the best fit because there'll be some longevity there as well. I guess a little bit more longevity that perhaps Danger doesn't have.
He's not young.
Yeah, he's not young, but you could see 4 years, maybe at least. Whereas Paddy, he'd be this. I feel like he'd be 1 or 2, and then he probably needs to step away from that in order to focus on himself again, so that he can keep his body the way it needs to be able to play out a couple more years, hopefully from there. So I feel like for that, whereas obviously the nature of Tom Stewart's position means it's a little less bash and crash, and I mean he still obviously throws himself at the ball unbelievably ferociously, but the nature of the positions means it's a little less combative for him in that space, and he can be able to look after himself while still be a captain easier than what Paddy will be able to, plus the couple years of age difference. So I feel like Tom Stewart's the right fit for multiple different reasons. If it was just if they were the same age and you had to pick, I don't know, it wouldn't matter. I think that it's really much of a muchness, but because there's a couple extra years, I'd be on the Tom Stewart side. Yeah,
look, I'm still going to go with Tom. I think Tom's the man. Look, I wouldn't be surprised though if it was Danger for a couple of years, even though I think that's a bit of a risk with his injuries, and he could. I think once his speed goes, then I think his effectiveness is going to go away pretty quick too. So I hope it doesn't, but that's my biggest fear with Danger, that the way he plays is heavily reliant on his ability to burst away from packs and his strength, and once that goes, or once that drops off a little bit, then the competition quickly catches up to him. So, and and I don't know. I think he's probably better as a vice captain. To be honest, I think I've been wanting to see Tom Stewart do it for a long time. There's probably the second tier below those two would probably be your Tom Hawkins and your Mark Blitzarves. There might even be another
Tom Atkins, as Lockie
Tom
mentions
Atkins
in the
as well. Yeah, I think there's a lot of love out there for Tom Atkins.
Lockie says even someone like Tom Atkins, I could see making a case for captain.
Yeah.
He'll be one of the superstars of the competition in a few years.
Yeah. I know there's been some silly comments about Jai Clark, probably including myself, tongue in cheek, clearly, but Jai Clark, year one, hasn't played a game, make him captain. No, that won't happen. But and Brett, look, there's
maybe in his third season.
Yeah, a lot of love for Brad Close too. I'm surprised by that. I get a couple of those guys, like even Tom Atkins. I mean, I've never spoken to the guy, bumped into him once or twice, but never actually spoken to him. And but him and Closey, I don't see them talking a lot, being very vocal. But I don't know. I always think of a captain as someone who's got a bit of a doesn't mind a bit of a chat. But anyway, so those would probably be 4 or 5 or 6 that are probably in the running.
In the case of Closey, has a bit of mongrel in him, and I don't necessarily see that for him.
Yeah. Exactly. So look, we'll see. Hopefully they'll make a decision in the next, probably in February sometime. I'm guessing they'll finalise that before the season. You reckon that's too soon or
too long? That's almost. I feel like they'll have it done before the end of the month.
Maybe they already know. It's like the
yeah, I imagine they know. It's just not public knowledge yet.
It's like the player numbers. When are we going to when are we going to find out? Come on, we've already seen them running around in the training outfits.
I mean.
Oscar Riccardi's number 50, I'm sure of it.
To be crystal clear, I'm not trying to belittle anyone, but it is all about social media engagements and how do we drive
it's
the marketing cycle. And we've just come off the back of the 16 wins, the clips from each of those each week, and they've been able to lean on those. Each day for the last little while, they've been able to lean on those. It keeps engagement going.
Yep.
Just when things start to dip, boom, let's drop the player numbers. Then we'll go the captain. It's all the grind.
And you'll get a new re-signing at some point, I'm sure. Someone will extend a contract, all that fun stuff. So, that's how the industry works, and we appreciate that, but I'm just desperate for news. I'm really struggling, Paul. I love my AFL content, and I'm just, with the Christmas break and everything, I'm just getting nothing from the Cats at the moment. So, a couple of players came back to training early, but I think it's due to come back just yet anyway, the rest of the team. So, but you saw a few photos of the players throwing a frisbee around, but that's as far as it goes at the moment. That's as much as we're getting, frisbee photos. So it'd be nice when we start getting a bit more news about who's flying and who's. Hopefully we don't get any stories about who's got injury, which is a good segue, mate. I'm after some bold predictions from you. A really positive bold prediction and a doom and gloom bold prediction for next season as we begin to wrap things up on this glorious first episode of the live show.
In terms of what though? Like, are we talking
the season? So the Cats, just generally the Catters. What's something that's you prepared? And I don't know, you like to sit on the fence a little bit, Paul. But if you were going to extend yourself a little bit, if you're going to extend just a little, what would be something that? Okay, look, I'll go first. And I'll show you how it works. I think Jezza will have an 8-goal game. It's an 8+ goal game at some point this year. Bear in mind, I think he had 7 against the Kangaroos last year.
Who do we play in the first few?
Collingwood, Carlton in the first couple.
So you're not going to kick 8 against them?
Probably not. Not without Tommy maybe not being there as well.
Well, that's where my line of thinking is. So, if we've got some, no offense to him, but cellar dweller in the first few games before Hawke potentially comes back, then Jeremy Cameron could go to town. On them because he becomes the focal point. Gold Coast Suns, for example, in round 3. Hawthorn on Easter Monday.
Have fun with that. That'll be fun.
I mean, admittedly, the Hawks' defense is probably the only thing that really works there. West Coast, the round after that. That's in
doesn't matter.
Whatchamacallit round. The special round.
Special round. Yeah, the get around
you.
Gather around, yes.
Get around you, I like that.
Get around you.
So, there's a few lowly teams there in kind of round 3. I think the Suns will be pushing for the top 8, as we discussed with the... I don't think they'll make it, but they'll be pushing for the top 8, as I discussed in the ladder predictor thing. But there's certainly some teams that could potentially be beaten up on, so...
Oh, he'll beat up on a few. I think he'll have a few bags, but I just think he's going to have a really big one. I was nearly bold enough to go that he'd kick 10 goals, but you don't see that you only see that every 3-4 years, don't you? Someone kicking 10 goals. It doesn't seem to happen very often these days. So I think,
The Hawkins-less period though could be the one. Like if there's going to be a time for it, that's the time.
yeah, but man, they double team him. I don't know, not sure, but we'll see. So that was my bold prediction for something positive. Now, my on the flip side of that, the doom and gloom would be that, and it's not based on fact. This is just me being silly, just crapping on. But I think Tommy Hawkins will play no more than 10 home and away games this year. I just feel like injuries and age is going to catch up to him. And it's going to be the Cameron show for most of the year. So that's my doom and gloom bold prediction for 2023.
I mean, I agree with the prediction, but I don't see it as like a doom and gloom thing, though. I feel like that's
Shannon Neal gets a chance if that happens, but maybe.
Well, there's obviously good opportunity in the whole thing, but I actually see it as more like a management thing, like they did with Danger this year, where it's just a case of okay, like he's obviously got a foot that he needs some work on, and why rush the guy? Like we're playing for a premiership again. We're not playing to win
Gary
games
Ablett
in round 1 to 10.
Gary Ablett Jr. in 2020, where they barely played him until the back end of the year, and they got into a grand final. And then
obviously it didn't end well. But
first 5 minutes he does his shoulder, but anyway.
Obviously you can't prepare for collision injuries like that. But I think I don't think we have to worry about Hawkins when it comes to a collision injury like a shoulder. I think he's probably going to put someone's shoulder out as opposed to do one himself. But no, I think it's just a case of looking after Tom and just giving him as long as it takes, and then probably adding a couple extra weeks just to make sure, and then go, okay, build yourself up for the first week of finals. There's no need to rush this thing.
Look, you've
got Cameron there, who, as we've just said, is going to kick bags along the way. We've got Sava Radaglia that can come in. You've got Shannon Neal. You've got quite a few players who, sure, they're not Tom Hawkins quality, but they're more than capable and will be able to assume the role pretty well. So,
here's one. If you had to, I'm going to steer you a little bit here, Paul, but if you had to pick someone that would become a first-time All-Australian, hasn't done it before.
This guides me towards where this is what my prediction was going to be.
Well, there you go.
Sam De Koning.
Second year All-Australian. Jesus.
Tell me who are the good key defenders these days? Like genuine key defenders. Stephen May.
Yes, Stephen May. What's his name from Collingwood?
Moore.
Yeah, Darcy Moore. No, it's not that many really.
And I'd argue he played better than Darcy Moore in 2022.
Yeah, I think he did. I think most.
I would you could. I think in 2022 I could probably, if I was to be honest, I probably would have picked Darcy Moore over Sam De Koning. But at the same time, in 2023, where he's got another year, he will have hopefully grown a little bit more. He will have learnt more about his game, all those sort of things. I don't see why he wouldn't be right up there. And I'm sure he probably lost a few points because we don't want to give it to a guy who's nearly won All-Australian. I mean, it's a tough ask to get your All-Australians in there. So
you've got to have 2 years worth of you've got to have a good year before you get your All-Australian jumper anyway, don't you? That's generally how it goes. Typically how it goes. I'm going to go, and this is really, I'm stepping into your territory, but I'm going to say my bold prediction for All-Australian will be Big Baby Guthrie. Big baby.
I'd love for you to be right.
He's not a baby anymore, but if he just he's got the confidence now. He's a premiership player. He's played 21 games, I think it was last year. He's a fixture in the team now. Premiership medal hanging around his neck.
He couldn't get pushed out. Yeah,
his hair's probably going another 3 or 4 inches. He's loving it, and he's
probably doing it like his brother now.
Exactly right. 2-time Carji Greaves medalist Cam Guthrie, Carji Greaves medalist in a premiership year. He was one that we didn't talk about as a captain, but I don't know. I don't think he's vocal enough. No, probably not. He seems pretty quiet around the place. So. Any other bold picks from you, mate? Or you?
I'll acknowledge what we've got in the chat there with either moment shouting out both Tom Atkins and Max Holmes.
There's a lot of Max Holmes. Yes, early days for Max Holmes.
Though he's saying Max Holmes in 24, admittedly.
Who said that one?
That's either moment in the chat there saying Max Holmes for Australian in 2024, but Tom Atkins 2023, and so he's going to come pretty. I feel like if he plays the way he played this year, he's going to come pretty close. There's people started really dialing into the way he was playing and when you take Selwood out of there and he's now able to just play that role all game, every game.
Yeah. Oh, he's going to be...
Surely he's going to get even better, right?
I think I've been on record before saying Max Holmes going to be top 5 in the Brownlow next year. I don't think that's bold. I wouldn't call that bold anymore. I think he's got all the attributes to be an absolute elite player in the game, and it's just whether or not he does it in year 3 or year 5. I think he's coming with the bullet, that guy. So expect big things from him if he stays injury free in 2023. My last thing, mate, before I wrap the show up, and it's just
you need me to doom and gloom it too?
You can do it. Go to do a doom and gloom if you got one.
Well, I just thought of it then. Jai Clark won't get a game.
Well, yeah. Yeah.
I don't know. I don't know that I really believe that myself.
Cooper White was flying last year in the preseason. He was going really well, and then he didn't get to play a game. But apparently, he's going okay now. So, bit of a forgotten man, really, Grovedale boy. But hopefully, he gets a game. But yeah, Jai Clark. I wouldn't be surprised.
How are our new faces going to go? And I don't mean the young new faces. I mean the experienced ones. So I mean, are we going to get how many games is Ollie Henry going to get? How many games is Tanner Bruin going to get? How many games is
I think?
Oh damn it!
Tanner will play as much as Tanner wants to play. Ollie will probably play 10 to 12 games. I think you'll see a bit of a re-emergence of Sam Menengola back in the side. Another one who's probably a bit forgotten, and a lot of people. He's probably going to be the next whipping boy, sadly, now that we've lost Dalhouse and Higgins. But I think I wouldn't be surprised if Menengola plays 20 games next year if he's injury free. I think once he gets a good run on, he's pretty good for us. Yeah, I think he'll be okay.
There's Jack Bowes to factor in all this.
Jack
as well.
Bowes, I'm not as confident about Jack Bowes, to be honest. I hope he goes okay, but there's only so many spots in the team. So if you play all of them, then on average, everyone's only playing like 16 games. So unfortunately, you generally pick your best 22, even though you manage a few players. I don't see Jack getting in. But look, yeah, we haven't seen anything yet, have we? So I haven't even seen a community series game
Waiting
yet.
for some pre-season, yeah.
I know. So it's way too early yet. We'll do a pre-season review. A season review preview video, I should say. Get tongue-tied. Before the season starts, probably the week before the season starts, we might do that one. I think we've got Anna lined up for that one as well. So it'll be the three of us for that episode. So that'll be where we sort of make our final predictions on all things 2023. We'll have to come back to that one at the end of the year, mate, just to see how right or wrong we got it. I'm still saying Essendon's top 4. I'm not going away from that. I don't know what. We'll see how we go with that.
You can be on that island on your own.
I'm
mate.
getting a little bit nervous, but I've got to stick with it, don't I? I can't be wishy-washy with that sort of stuff. Anyway, for anyone who's joined us on the show tonight, thank you so much for being patient with us while we're sorting out some technical issues, and I'm sure you're probably getting a bit of lag on this. So we'll work out some of these technical
growing pains. We'll get through
growing
that.
pains.
Should also shout out, and I didn't actually the comments slip through until now, but Rach Danfield popped in as well.
Oh, right.
Asking, do we get the elusive 23 and 23? I assume she means 23 wins, like.
Ooh. 23. There's 23 rounds. No.
I didn't even tip that, and you thought I was being the most ambitious person you've ever seen.
See, that's a bold one, Rach. That's real bold.
And even then I dialed it back afterwards. And everyone seems to forget that I was then like, okay, they should win this, and then they'll drop a couple. But anyway.
Well, there's the first one is ticking off the winning streak. Was it 26 wins in a row, or 26 games without loss, or something like that? So we're 16 round 1 against Collingwood, make it 17, and then we'll see how we go. If we get through round 1. I'll start seriously thinking about that, but that's a long way away still. Starting the season 7-0 or whatever it is, 8-0.
23 wins. So
goodness me, that's asking a lot. 10 more wins in a row. That's a big call.
Get around them. I didn't tip him for round 1. So,
no. I think I've tipped us to lose to Carlton round 2. So, but way early. It's very, very early. So
Jez will take the piss out of him again, just like he did in that pocket. This year.
Yeah. So, anyway, mate, what have you got coming on? Have you got one of your shows coming up on your other channel this week, or is there anything you want people to know about?
Returns for the year tomorrow.
Yep.
So that's on the Player 2 YouTube channel.
Beautiful.
Dev Diary is meant to come back this Thursday. I still don't have a guest yet, so I've got to get to work on that. Hopefully, I'd hate for my first episode of the year to not go ahead. So I'll be working on that one. I'm sure I'll get someone.
It's a bad start. It's bad omen if that happens. You've got to get someone lined up.
Look, it's been a bad start to the year.
Someone of the Bundy quality, just first episode in, bang, just like behind the play, the first one.
Look, the end of the year with episode 100, I went with a bang. I got someone working on Wolverine, which is a pretty good get.
Yeah,
but,
that's not bad.
I was pretty happy with that.
Very good. Well,
Yeah, nothing too much yet. I'm just easing my way into the year.
all right, and you'll probably be invested in the what's that new show on Binge? Is it The Last of Us? You were trying to hype me up about that one as
holy
well.
shit, mate.
Are you we won't be able. You're offline for a few weeks, are you? While that show is it dropping all in one go, or is that
No, I think it's
1 week at a
weekly.
time? Oh,
Yeah,
okay.
we got ourselves the Last of Us takes pride of place in this job.
Oh, you've got some very nice. You need to get. We'll have to get you some RGB lighting on those shelvings as well, so you can highlight some of the stuff.
I've got some Philips Hue lights.
Okay.
I've just got to set them up in this space. So.
That'd be nice. So change it. You need a white and blue mode as well, so we can get the hoops going at some point.
Yeah. I did actually when I had them set up. I've just got to bring them in here. So
beautiful.
Soon enough, we'll get there.
Beautiful. All right. Well, and people can. What's your social handle again, Paul? Just while we're finishing up.
At Paul James Games.
Beautiful. And you can always reach out. I usually look after the Hoops Twitter handle, so reach out to me on at the Hoops Show on Twitter, and I think it's just the Hoops. Sorry, that _ Hoops_show on Instagram, which we're pretty active on there as well. So we do some things on Facebook, and we haven't really grown that side of things too much yet. But if you haven't already liked our page there, please do so. Please also subscribe to the channel. We've just about ticked over 550 subscribers, which is crazy because I didn't think we were going to get to 500 at one point, and we smashed through that before the end of last year, and we're doing really well.
Beautiful evergreen content that we've got,
mate. Exactly right. So check out all Paul's shows; they're about an hour each, and you can just you got the podcast show as well, which I keep forgetting to tell people about the podcast, mate. Because if you don't want to watch, if you're at work or whatever, or if you're at the gym, you can just put your headphones in and listen to the podcast version of that. So, and we'll try and get some.
Make sure to get Behind the Play on podcast feeds.
Exactly.
It's on Apple, it's on Spotify, it's on all the shit services as well. So
all the crap, all the good. And we'll try to get our Sunday show on the pods as well at some point. So maybe not this one because this is episode 0, and it's gone terribly.
This will remain 0. This one's not gonna. The
show's been terrible, but the people that have been the people that have tuned in have been fantastic. So 3 votes Lockie, I reckon. Thank you everyone for being so patient with us while we're working some things out. Anyway, that'll do.
And of course, as
one more.
Said before, make sure to check out the Patreon as well. So
check
if people
the Patreon.
if people want to check out those early episodes of Behind the Play, and we've got 4 of them already ready to go with Oscar Riccardi, Brooke Plummer. We've got you've announced some of the others. You've got Trevor Young and Terry Degani, all
that stuff
lined up and coming over. They're on the Patreon, and it's gonna be a while before they're public. So if you want to check those out, you've got the access right now for no more than a coffee, one single coffee. You can get for a month.
Sign up
a day a month.
Sign up for a couple of months if you want. That's fine, all good. It all helps us progress the show.
$60 for a year.
Yeah, it's nothing.
$60 for a year. That's all it is.
It's nothing. But it does help us do what we're doing and improve. And it gives us a bit of a pat on the back too, if nothing else. Honestly, I think we've got 4 Patreon members at the moment, and I'm so appreciative of everyone who's helping us grow the show. Jared Mast, I should give him a shout out because he was and Jared. There's 2 Jareds actually, Jared Fox and Jared Mast. But Jared Mast was our very first Patreon subscriber or member.
Oh, nice.
So he's been there since pretty much day one, and he really backed what we were doing on the Twitter space early doors, and liked a couple of episodes. So he was there early days, and Jared Fox, old Foxy, he's our only silver member actually. So he's on our second tier. So we've got to show him a little bit of love as well. So but yeah, for most people, if you're keen to support the show, the $5 a month option is probably your go. But if not, if you can't afford that, that's great. We just love engaging with you on the socials and in the chat as well. So thank you for.
And we've got one juicy question that's been dropped in the chat just to wrap things up for a bit of fun.
Fire some juice at us.
From Miles Oakley.
Miles, I love Miles.
The best of the Cats squad that's not in the starting 22. So anyone who's not getting a game, would they beat West Coast or North Melbourne?
Yes.
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 I would imagine a team that's the tier 2 probably does the job.
I think against North, yes, probably not West Coast over there, but yeah, I'd back a
play West Coast in Geelong though, and I reckon the Geelong VFL team will get the job done.
Yeah, easily by 55 points, something like that. Not a problem.
Whoa.
Good question there, Miles.
And as Miles says, it's an embarrassment of riches. So very
Exactly. Exactly. Yeah. I tell you what's doing good. What's very evergreen is that watch party I did at the grand final video, and we had some similar issues with tech on that one as well. One day we'll get this right, but gee, that's doing some numbers. Every now and then I get someone jump into that for an hour or two. But that was good fun doing a rewatch of that. It was probably a month or two ago now, but that was good fun.
Yeah, I'm just trying to scroll back and find it.
Yeah.
I can't.
No good. Well, anyway.
Live grand final watch party. Yeah, okay.
It's done okay. It's done okay. We the more the merrier. But we're there's some things we want to do. We need to get up to about 1,000 subscribers before we can do some more things though. So
that's the YouTube threshold.
And this is probably the first year that it's been from day dot. It's been me and Paul together doing it. So Paul joined at partway through last year, and we're sort of softly introducing Anna into it as well this year as one of our co-hosts for this show most weeks into 2023. So there'll be the three of us, some three regular faces, which you'll hopefully get used to. So, but yeah, just for tonight, me and Paul, but we'll get Anna involved as well in the future. Anyway, Paul, I'm going to say goodnight. I'm going to do some dishes and the normal boring stuff that us YouTubers do in our everyday lives. I haven't got any kids with me tonight, but I think hopefully your kids have settled in nicely and everything's okay. And we'll say goodbye, and we'll, as we do every time when we sign out, go Cats.
No, mine are in bed. The plumbing went on me today, so
yeah. Hopefully they're okay. Anyway, take care, everyone.